Gardner picking up a penalty as well, number 48 from Tilbury, Ontario, the defender. So 4-on-4, as this puck never left the zone. Cougars trying to latch onto it. They have a little trouble doing so. Jack Turner, number 13, he'll try to play it through some traffic. As Dale Campbell, he sends it across. Connor Houlihan, the defenseman, jumping in, number 11. He tried to get that towards the net. He took a big hit. Chance to talk to you about the goalies. Charles Healy from Rochester, New York. He actually picked up an assist last night as starting for Misericordia. Michael Labuti is starting for Rutgers. See how this goes with a little open ice at 4-on-4. As Dale Campbell, freshman from West Orange, New Jersey, number 25. He picked it up in the neutral zone, got Rutgers into the offensive zone. Campbell 1-on-2, trying to slide the puck along the wall. Didn't have a lot of room to work with. Misericordia trying to clear, unable to do so until eventually that was Gallagher who forced it out. This is number 21, Trent Barker. He's able to forecheck his way into the offensive zone, trying to center it, but that's broken up by a nice stick of Ryan Butchko, the defenseman from Toms River, New Jersey. Now it's Reagan, Connor Reagan, one of the starters. Butchko with a look, and it's a first save of the afternoon for Charles Healy, a minute 50 in with 37 seconds to go on the Coincidental Miners. Said last night was a wild game, 7-5 for Misericordia, and we'll tell you a little bit more about their story in a second. They are in Tier 2 and independent in the ACHA, and this is their first season at this level to begin with. So to start off 7-2 is pretty incredible, and to beat a Tier 1 team already is pretty incredible. Rutgers able to keep it in. It's Butchko right point. Gets the pass back with 22 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. He tried to get that into the slot for Cada. There wasn't anything available, and the Cougars force it out. Butchko tried to play it along, but Tyler Wilson, the defenseman, number 12, intercepted, and he'll try to regroup. Not before Jack Tommen, freshman from Freehold, New Jersey, number 77, plays it back. The 4-on-4 has expired, so we're back to full and even strength. Declan McDonald, number 74, plays it ahead to number 26, Cal Lagas, who is from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Tommen trying to work his way into the slot. There's a loose puck there. Loose at the side of the net. Goalie down. Healy was out of position. Good defensive sticks. Another chance didn't reach the net. It hit some skates on the way through. Rutgers with a good little flurry there. They have the only two registered shot on goal, and there's Labuti catching the dump in from the neutral zone and freezing it. So a good little sequence there for Rutgers in the offensive zone after we went back to 5-on-5 action. For Misericordia last night, beating Rutgers wasn't the first M1 team they beat. They beat Lehigh 2-1 on the 6th of September. That's a team Rutgers has also going to play later in the season. They've given up the second most goals this season in M1 of teams that have played 6 games or more. That's 32. And they gave up 7 last night, so that's something Joe Dixon and his team are going to want to tighten up for sure. That's Paul Rubenstein, forward number 5, trying to fling it into the zone. Ran off the end of his blade. He'll look in the corner. Hit by number 27, Gabriel Harrison from Westminster, Connecticut. He had a 3-assist night last night. A lot of points on the board for both teams when you have a 7-5 score. Misericordia trying to break it out. That was intercepted by Thomas Apple-Pelizion, senior from Jersey City, New Jersey. But Rutgers not able to do anything with the possession. Misericordia dumps it into the neutral zone. Connor Houlihan, defenseman from Newbury, Massachusetts. He tried to break that in, and now there's another pinned puck in the corner. A lot of board battles in the first 4 minutes of this game. 4 shots for Rutgers, 1 for Misericordia. Gallagher tries to backhand that out. He was lucky that got in the neutral zone. Didn't have a lot of air underneath it. We get a whistle in the neutral zone. I think we're going to get another penalty, and this is going to be a hooking penalty. Last night, these teams combined to take 13 minors, and they've already taken 3 in the first 4-16. That was Lagas who took the penalty, a hook in the neutral zone, so Rutgers is going to get a power play out of this, game's first power play. Misericordia last night had 8 power play opportunities. Rutgers had 5. This is going to split the defenseman and get back to the neutral zone. Reagan up at the point. He now tries to work his way and took a big check along the boards. Campbell trying to support, but Misericordia forces it back out again. And Butchko will have to try and reset. It's Thomas Hilliard, who had a goal and assist last night, senior from Conjures, New York. But now it's Campbell. Good stick check. That was Barker who with the good stick lift. Rutgers only able to play it along the wall. Misericordia trying to clear again. That was knocked down by Liam Mooney, number 91, the forward from Philadelphia, and he is able to clear. Minute 19 to go on this power play. Misericordia scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third last night. All the way in. This is some great moves. Really good moves from Reagan, and Healy makes the stop. Reagan had the entire run of the rink there to just glide right through whatever defense was in front of him, and there wasn't a whole lot. He had 4 goals coming into last night and 5 points. Couldn't get that behind Healy, who started last night and is playing again this afternoon. Not a long turnaround time. It was a 7 o'clock game last night and a 2:45 game today. 59 seconds to go on the penalty. Another solid check in the corner. Rutgers trying to establish some possession with Houlihan. More big hits. They're going to get another penalty. It might be a boarding call. Caracata got smashed into the boards. There's an arm up, and now Labuti gets pulled. Rutgers bench didn't realize it initially. That was Reagan who jumps into the play. It's 6-on-4, and now Misericordia touches, and there will be 36 seconds of 5-on-3 time for the Scarlet Knights. Check the number of who committed the penalty. And that was Aiden Gallagher, who scored last night, I think, is going to be the one to get it. It is him. And so, glorious opportunity for the Scarlet Knights to get on the board first. They were down at 1.52 in the game last night and then tied the game in the third period before giving up 2 later and falling 7-5. Well, this is a chance to get off to a hot start. You've got 36 seconds of 5-on-3, but a good 15 seconds of it are going to get bled off the clock after the Cougars win the faceoff and clear it all the way down. So Rutgers has to hustle. Reagan will work his way in with good speed on the left wing. Has to wait now to look for support. Down low, good save by Healy. Back with Reagan up high, 9 seconds of 5-on-4. Butchko lost the puck. Trying to get that through England, but Rutgers keeps possession. We are now back to 5-on-4. Penalty for Lagos is over. Rutgers can't take advantage of the 5-on-3. Reagan left point. He's going to try to get it through traffic. It didn't get through any of the traffic, and that is cleared very nicely by Gardner. Reagan will have to reset behind his own net with a minute to go on the Gallagher penalty. But Reagan left it behind. Rutgers has not won a home game yet this season. They are trying to change that here. They gave up 10 goals and 9 against Indiana University of Pennsylvania 2 weekends ago. That's part of why some of the defensive issues have popped up. Here's Hilliard, left wing, sends it through the slot and wide. This is Jack Turner, an assist last night, back up for Houlihan. Butchko shoots, easy save there for Healy. There was traffic in front, but that got into his glove, and there's a little pushing and shoving. But the referees and linesmen step in to put a stop to that. Little carryover from last night with all the penalties, all the goals. Almost certainly that is going to have a role to play in today's game. Misericordia has taken the first few punches pretty well. They've given up 8 shots, but Healy stopped all of them. As I mentioned earlier, he picked up an assist on one of the goals last night. Everybody loves a goalie assist. Misericordia wins the draw, carries it ahead. This is Brendan Johnson from Dallas, Pennsylvania. Gets it to the wing for Declan McDonald, number 74. That's backhanded into the slot in a dangerous area. This will clear some time for the Cougars off the clock. Johnson last night scored 2 goals, 2 of the 7. Power play is about to end for Rutgers. Labuti hasn't touched the puck very much, and he almost lost that in his skates. Labuti has an 0-2 record with a 7 goals against average, .816 save percentage. Penalty over. We are back to 5-on-5. So Rutgers does not take advantage of a 5-on-3 or a 5-on-4. And now it's Krupa in, and he shot it wide. That was Josh Krupa from Mesa, Arizona. He had a look there right in front of Labuti, and the shot rolled off the end of his blade. Good forecheck from Rubenstein. Number 5 there for Rutgers, but another clear and another 2-on-1. This is Harrison, and Labuti makes his first really good save. He was working with Barker there on the 2-on-1. The shot was easy enough for Labuti to see. Only the third shot he's faced in the first 8 minutes and change. Rubenstein into skates. Mooney lost out to Tomlin along the wall. There's been a lot of board battles in the early going of this game. Rutgers able to clear off a deflection. This is going to force Harrison to go back and get it. From Westminster, Connecticut, he had 3 assists in last night's game. This puck is left behind for a second by Barker, but he almost lost it in his skates, but found it. Another turnover. Matthew Greenspoon shoots. That might have gone off of Healy and to the far point. Harrison into the neutral zone. Butchko turns it back the other way. See if we can get a stretch of 5-on-5 play, which we have not had much of yet. Lagus trying to work his way in, but 3 white sweaters were around him. Butchko needs to be careful. Good forecheck from England. Now he's gotten the puck back, and that's tipped ahead by Nathan Case. He'll go in on the forecheck, but Misericordia sorts it out well. Their head coach is Scott Swanson. He'll like how his team has been resilient in the face of the penalties and the shorthanded play early on. It's a point shot that deflected along, and Reagan had to clear it out of the slot, which he did. See more physical play, and we're close to the rink here, so every hit, every puck off the glass you can hear. The sounds of the rink sound even sharper the closer you are, and we can hear it all very clearly. Ruben just has to force into the zone, otherwise his teammates would have been offside. Timothy Cherney, number 28, he's trying to force that puck free. Cougars keep it alive, but Cherney forces it ahead. Rutgers needs a change, and we'll go get it. Fast-paced first period. No whistles since that one of the last exchanges on the power play for Rutgers. Taken by Houlihan. He has to send it to the far side. Nobody home. Joseph Lipinski, number 3. He scored last night, forced it out. Ed Gilpatrick, one of the starters from Angor, Maine. He sends it along to Ruben, who dumps it in deep, and Labuti decides he's going to freeze it. We finally get a whistle with 9:03 remaining in this first period. It was 2-1 Misericordia after 1 last night. The goals really exploded in the third period. The shot was 47-33 Rutgers last night. So what the shot clock tells you is Rutgers had more offensive zone time, but problem is they gave up the 7 goals still. Misericordia took their chance as well. This is going to get through Campbell, get through everybody. It won't be icing since Campbell wins the race, and Healy has to play it along the wall. Misericordia loses it in the neutral zone and then gets it right back. That was good work from Johnson with a couple of stick checks, but eventually Rutgers finds possession with Turner, who takes another heavy hit into the boards. This has been a physical game. It doesn't feel like there is much open ice. Krupa and Johnson, Krupa ends up losing out. Turner trying to play it on his own, but Gardner had to step in regroups under little pressure. 8 minutes to go in this opening period, no score. Thank you for being with us on Breakout Sports Broadcasting on this Saturday afternoon. Misericordia and Rutgers. Matthew Aaron bringing you all of the fun after last night. I don't know how you could top a 7-5 barn burner, but we'll see if these two teams can find a way to do that this afternoon. Rubenstein trying to get free after a sloppy change, and the slap shot just went off the end of his blade and wide. And he takes a silly offensive zone penalty. He went for a check and just missed. Ended up hooking Barker there, and that's what's going to be the call. Rubenstein, the sophomore from Summit, New Jersey, had some open ice, and then out of frustration after he whiffed on the shot, ends up taking the penalty, and Misericordia's got its first power play of the day. Rutgers had those 8 power plays last night. Misericordia had 5. Trying to get set up on this man advantage. There's Gallagher's shot. It was stopped in front. I think Reagan got the block before that ever reached Labuti, who has spent the first 13 or so minutes of this game as a spectator. Has not had to face much rubber. Part of that is due to the fact that his team spent some time on the power play, and also Rutgers has had more of that offensive zone time. Campbell's going to get to this and force it out beyond Gallagher. Barker has to go back to get it, which he will. Mooney, well, on the boards, turned it over. Reagan through the neutral zone, but he's 1-on-4 and didn't have much of a chance there. Good stick from Gilpatrick, forced a turnover, but Walknachter finds it, and Mooney just went hard into the boards, and he's going to go slowly to the bench as Rutgers maintains possession. Turner along the wall. There's 57 seconds to go on the penalty. Here's Johnson. Trying to dance around Reagan, who was back defensively, and this puck deflects off a stick and into the screen. Face-off will stay down here with 6:15 to go in the period. And last night, 8 power plays for Rutgers. After 8 minor penalties taken by the Cougars, Rutgers took 5 themselves, and then there was also an extra misconduct in there. Gardner has it. Got that to McDonald. Gardner slides it along. Gardner once again. Nice puck moving into the slot. That's a very good stick for Butchko on Johnson, who found himself free in the slot. Not the area you want to leave open on a power play, but Rutgers with some good stick checks. Defensively, cleared the zone, and only 20 seconds left on the power play for the Cougars, who are rushing ahead. McDonald with good speed, but forced wide. Has to circle, gives it back to Gardner. That puck did just stay in. Labuti makes the save. There was a big rebound. Walknachter was able to get a stick in to prevent a chance. Power play is over. We're back to 5-on-5. And the shot, Labuti saw it go right through him. That was Lagis who shot it. Labuti was screened partially. And Lagis gets the goal, and Misericordia, just at the end of the power play, goes up 1-0. Chance to look at it here. Love to have these replays for you, and just looks like an innocent situation. It was Johnson who ends up setting it up, and there is a lot of traffic in there. And that's one I think Labuti would want back. He's not faced a lot of shots early in this game. A little bit of traffic in front on the extended shift after a power play was over. Lagis gets the goal. Misericordia leads 1-0. Rutgers would work through that shot, deflects through the slot. That was Wilson off of a Rutgers stick. Loose along the wall. Scarlet Knights able to sort it out. And Turner will try to do it himself, and he ran into 2 blue sweaters. Campbell finds it in the corner. Lost it for a second. More physical play. You can hear the thud of the boards on almost every check. Misericordia sends it all the way down. This is going to be icing. That was only the 5th shot of the day for Misericordia that ends up squeezing its way through. It was a tough play for Labuti, just again because of how much traffic is in front of him. And the shot didn't come in with a lot of velocity. It was more of a changeup You almost call it a knuckleball, a knuckle puck, and just fooled everybody. But Rutgers has been stuck on those 8 shots for a while. They haven't had a ton of offensive zone time since the power play sequence has ended. Tyler Wilson, defender from Rome, New York, number 12, across to Gallagher. Cougars unable to get it out of the zone. They'll have to try another route. Gallagher will try to skate it himself. Reagan picks it up in the neutral zone. Nice backhand pass. Keita, he shoots one. That's a nice save by Healy. Puck is behind the net. Backhanded into the slot, but only to a blue sweater. That was Rubin who intercepted. And now Mooney tries to force his way into the zone. Labuti has to stick it to the corner. Reagan up the wall. Butchko looking for an outlet. 3-on-3 for the Scarlet Knights. Walknecker, nice pass. Keita with a look, and that's another good save by Healy. He's been open. .342 to go now in the opening period. 3 more shots for the Scarlet Knights and that little flurry. First 3 shots in 8 or 9 minutes, it feels like. See if they can get something going with some sustained zone time. Houlihan, and there's another good stop. That was Case who got the look. Healy has been sharp. A lot of the shots are to areas, though, where he's easily able to see them. Cougars in the offense zone. Krupa trying to play it forward, but comes back to Gilpatrick, who has to send it in. Tommen ahead. Greenspoon now, 2-on-3. Case, wide right. Another save. That one, Healy lost the rebound, but there were blue sweaters to find it. Gilpatrick cleaned it up. Gabe Harrison, he takes another physical check. Krupa lost it in the neutral zone for a second. He might have had an odd man rush opportunity. Tommen's on side, and they'll play it in deep. Very fast-paced first period here. Misericordia with the goal from Lagos. Johnson picked up the assist on that goal for Misericordia, who leads 1-0. Rutgers trying to keep it in the offensive zone. They're going to have to try again. This is Jason Bedard, number 6. Tried to play in it, but he's caught up the ice. And now back the other way. Lagos already has one. He's looking for a second. Oh, and how about that for Labuti? It went off of his own defender's stick. That was Reagan. I think the shot was going to go wide. It went off one stick, then another stick, and Labuti, who was a couple feet outside the blue paint, he was able to squeeze that between his pads. That would have been another unfortunate one to go through him. Donald gets Turner in the face-off. It's back with Wilson, D-to-D, into the slot. That's a beautiful pass. Great save. It's loose in the blue paint. Oh, I think it went in. It did go in. Referee says the puck went in. Labuti is asking, did that actually go by me or not? The referee said it went in on that initial chance. It's going to be Brendan Johnson who gets the goal. I didn't think that went by him, but the referee saw it. And now they're going to have a chat. Did that actually go in or not? Let's look at it. On our replay, this was a good look off the faceoff. Got Labuti moving from side to side. And you can see that chance. Did the second one go in? Can't really tell from that angle. Yeah, I guess you have to trust the referee's judgment in this case. Johnson was the one leading the scoring celebration. But they're going to give it to him, and it's 2-0. That is another bizarre goal and a tough one. Like, did that go over the line in the air? It looked like Labuti was out of position moving side to side because the puck movement from the Cougars was really good. That is one of the most bizarre goals you're going to see. One called over the line in the air. Opportunity for a possible breakaway. There's a penalty coming up, and Rutgers scores anyway. Cotta scores, nets off the pegs. There was a penalty coming up regardless. It looked like there might be 2 chances at a breakaway, but Rutgers responds with a goal they absolutely had to have. And there's going to be a chat going on after all of this. or did they score? I think this went in before the net went off the pegs. Well, in the bizarre goals or not goals department, we've had two of the weirder ones you're going to see. Referees are talking with Joe Dixon to see whether this actually went in or not. I think we can have a chance to take a look at this if we can, and we're going to. Again, it looked like there might be one or two breakaways here. This is the first chance. Kata's shot, oh, that definitely, I think, went in before the net went off the pegs. There's a penalty on the board. It's against Wilson regardless. So if there's a penalty on the board, I think that pretty clearly means the puck didn't go in before the net went off the pegs. Crowd here thought Kata scored. Evidently not. So a puck that went over the line in midair but never went into any part of the net itself. And then this situation where the puck went in after the net went off the pegs, but it's still a Rutgers power play. All right then. Even the announcers could get fooled sometimes. And in this case, that's exactly what happened. So this is the third power play for Rutgers in the period. Let's see if they can get one on the board for real. It was really close to the puck going in before the net went off the pegs. Cherney, side along Campbell, tied up in the corner. He gets hit heavily into the boards. It was a two-handed check to the back. And Misericordia clears. There will be 11 seconds of carryover power play time into the second period. What a bizarre sequence of goal and then no goal. Come to a rink, you never know what you're going to see. Reagan to Turner. Butchko shoots. I think Healy got a piece of that. This is Hilliard. Reagan trying to look for that tip down low from Turner. Didn't arrive. Minute to go in this first period. Campbell throwing his shoulder in. They tried to stuff it in there, Turner, but it's picked up by Gallagher. He will chip and chase himself, and he's got some space here shorthanded, looking to center, and he ended up throwing it to Campbell instead. Hilliard the other way, right wing side, forced to go wide. Reagan again takes the hit, puck into the corner, 35 seconds to go in the period. And Reagan had to go through him. Butchko has to regroup in the neutral zone. Reagan scoops it out, trying to enter the zone himself, but Johnson took it away. Goal and assist for Johnson in this period, and we get another penalty. It is a slash, and it's going to be on Rutgers. And the power play is going to come to a premature end for the Scarlet Knights. And that is Reagan who picks it up. Sophomore from Haddonfield, New Jersey. Picks up the penalty, which means we're going to have 4-on-4 for 31 seconds, 12 of which will be in the second period. The first 19 will be in this one. This period has had some strange occurrences, but hockey is a weird sport sometimes with bounces, or in the case of the second Misericordia goal, no bounce. Rutgers able to clear it immediately. This is going to roll on net, so no icing. Healy played it to Gardner, tied up in the corner with 10 seconds to go in the period. Unless there's a final flurry from the Scarlet Knights, it'll be 2-0 Cougars. There's a good chance. That was centered by Walknachter. It went off of Healy, and the period comes to an end. With a goal from Lagis, Johnson, what we thought was a goal for Kata, it turned out not to be. And so there will be 12 seconds of 4-on-4 and then a Misericordia power play, being outshot 13-7, but up 2-0. We'll be back with you for the second period right after this. Welcome back for the second period. Rutgers Misericordia. Some good club hockey for you on the Saturday afternoon at Breakout Sports Broadcasting. Matthew Aaron, so great that you are with us this afternoon. We still have 4-on-4 for the next 5 seconds before Misericordia will have an abbreviated power play of around a minute 29. They have a 2-0 lead. Goal from Cal Lagis as well as Brendan Johnson. He has a goal and an assist in this game. Number 72 is on the ice right now as the Cougars power play begins. The 2 goals were some of the stranger goals you could see. In the case of Brendan Johnson, we went back and looked at the replays you saw in that first intermission, thanks to our wonderful crew at Breakout Sports Broadcasting. And Johnson, the puck wasn't in the net or in the air. It did hit just underneath the bar. If there was a water bottle there, you might have seen it pop. It was very subtle, but the referees did a good job of spotting it because you might have missed it in real time. Either way, we also looked back at we thought was the Garrett Cotta goal. I think they probably called goalie interference. We don't have any confirmation of that. Johnson in, and that's stopped by Labuti. That's the first real good chance on this power play. And then another save by Labuti, who had a couple of really tough shots end up by him in that first period. And he's able to stop both of them there. In terms of power plays, Rutgers is 0 for 3. There's 35 seconds left on the penalty to Connor Reagan here. Misericordia won 7-5 last night in what was a crazy game. This game's been crazy for another reason. There's a good save and a rebound. Wachnachter couldn't get to it. Healy made the first save. The rebound sat there for a second, and Wachnachter just couldn't pull the trigger. Nearly a shorthanded goal there for Rutgers. Wachnachter, the freshman from Hillsborough, New Jersey. Rutgers able to clear, and that's going to just about do it for this power play. We have seen some interesting sequences in this game today, I'll have you know. As the power play is over, Reagan is freed. Barker ended up getting dumped to the ice on the far side, number 21. He's going to the bench slowly for the Cougars. Mooney to the wing for Devin England. And now back for Mooney in the corner. That deflected wide. England got that short side chance. A stick exploded in the midst of all that. Another shot from Mooney goes wide. Back onto the stick of Gilpatrick, who plays it along. And Ryan Butchko, number 88. The junior from Toms River, New Jersey, tried to clear it, not able to do so. Rutgers desperately trying to get the puck out. But Josh Krupa, number 81, kept it along the boards. A nice bit of forechecking work just inside the offensive blue line for the Cougars, but eventually the Scarlet Knights get it out on the backhand. That was trouble for Gallagher for a second, but he and the Cougars able to force it ahead. Johnson, he scored 2 goals yesterday. He's got a goal and an assist today. Turner finds it. He tries to go around the end boards and eventually got some help in backhanding it out. 2-0 Misericordia. They are being outshot 16-10 after being outshot 47-33 last night in that 7-5 thriller. Both teams 0 for on the power play this afternoon as well. In what's been a physical game, it's been a chippy game, and at times it's been weird. As I said, with the goal earlier we thought Cotta scored that ended up just being a power play for Rutgers. I think it was ended up being just incidental contact with the goalie that prevented Healy from playing his position when the puck went into the net. The puck went into the net on that replay we showed you. I think it did go in before the net went off the pegs, but they called, I think, goalie interference beforehand. That's a busted clearance. Wachnachter shoots another shot. Healy got a piece of. Krupa ended up getting dinged up in the middle of that sequence. Lipinski, number 3, he gets hit. That got put into the slot, nearly there for England, and now Rutgers tries to move the other way. Cotta, he's looking for a goal to count this time. Big save, rebound, and it scored. That was a weird bounce as well. Reagan did not get that one cleanly, but it goes into the net all the same. And he scores his 5th goal of the season, and Rutgers is on the board to make it 2-1. Healy had the big rebound. We're going to get a chance to look at it again. This time Rutgers able to break out the ice with speed. It's 2-on-3, but there's all sorts of room here. Cotta shoots for a rebound, and you can see Reagan didn't catch that cleanly at all, but he caught it enough to put it in the net, and it is now a 2-1 game. And the Scarlet Knights needed that one in the worst way. Was not one of the goal scorers last night for the Scarlet Knights. He's on the board here. Keita, there was that opportunity, and now Labudi makes the save on a shot through traffic. Kata thought he scored earlier. He sets it up, and now it's a 3-on-1 for the Scarlet Knights. Walknachter's got options. Kata! And a good save by Healy. Well, that's a defensive breakdown you don't want to happen. A 3-on-1. Walknachter passed it across. That was the right move, but Kata was stopped. Charles Healy making a good save. He's made 18 of 19 thus far. And a couple of defensive breakdowns and odd man rushes given up by the Cougars here in the last few sequences. Now we're beginning to see a little of how last night ended up 7-5. England won the face-off. Trying to push the puck up the wall. Helly's on. Number 48 kept it in. And now Case. Appley's on over to Houlihan. That shot goes wide. Rebound there. Healy had to hug his post just to be safe. Greenspoon 1v2 there. Now gets support from Case, but eventually taken by the Cougars, and Gilpatrick forces it ahead. He'll do it all himself. Gets over the red and the blue. They back off, and he fluttered it over the top. Case trying to clear, and the second period of the long change. Napoli's on again. Good forecheck. Looking for an option. He threw it into the skate of Lipinski. He got it back, though. Tommen into the slot. There are only blue sweaters there. Weak backhand was off a skate. Still loose. Greenspoon tries again. Another backhand was blocked. Lagus up the wall. That got through Houlihan, and he touched it, so this will not be icing. 5.5 gone in the second period. It is 2-1 in favor of Misericordia. Rutgers last night did not get a goal in the middle period. The Cougars got two and were up 4-1 after 2 periods, as is today. They were up 2-1 at one point in the second. They're up 2-1 right now. Rutgers with the only goal of the period. A shot didn't get to the net. The other way, Johnson on Krupa, right wing. Nice move into the slot. Gets all the way through. Good save, but behind, and it ends up not going in. It was touched with it's a hand that ended up putting it in the net. Referees right on it. The puck ended up in the net. It was Krupa and Johnson working their way up the ice in an odd man rush. Referees, who have much better eyes than your announcer today, as it turns out. That puck ended up going in off a hand. Referee signaled it immediately. Labudi had a little trouble just putting a fork in it. And in the end, it went off a hand, and there was some frustration on the Misericordia bench. I think it was Krupa knows he had an open net, and he just couldn't put it in with anything other than his hand, and you are not allowed to do that. 2 referees and 2 linesmen today in this game. Misericordia, if you weren't with us in the first period, a 7-2 record in their first season of play. In Tier 2, they have beaten already Lehigh and Rutgers as Tier 1 teams. Rutgers in the NACHL 1-5-0-1. That is something they would like to change after splitting a series last week. Here come the Scarlet Knights. That's a chance right into the glove of Healy. Off the stick of Regan, who scored earlier. Goal in a couple penalty minutes for Connor Regan today. Before last night, had 21 penalty minutes. And he ended up taking a couple of more. So after 2 minors last night, 1 day's up to 27. Here he is on the puck again, left circle. Nice pass to Campbell, and the shot was blocked. It's loose in the slot for a second, and Gardner had to soccer it away. Campbell regroups in the neutral zone. Campbell circles back. Turner just has to tip it in. The pass was in front of him, and Gardner will go and get it. It's been a very competitive game thus far. There's no question about it. Reagan keeps it alive. He's got a chance to shoot. Fakes a couple times, then shoots that at the crossbar. What an incredible set of moves there. Campbell with a swing and a miss. Still kept in by Turner, and now Mooney able to push it ahead. Mooney works his way in over the line, going wide, and the Campbell stick forced him to the corner. And another clean finish check there to boot. Along the wall, kept into Gardner. Again, look at the physical collision there. That was Baker and Turner colliding. Rutgers gets the puck, and that didn't leave the zone. Tired group of Scarlet Knights on the ice. They're desperate to get a clear here. Reagan had to play it back to Bedard, Jason Bedard. How often have you heard a pass to Bedard in the NHL today? Flipped up off the glass and out. So Bedard sends it across. Smargun shoots one. Good save again by Healy. Rutgers looking very lively in this second period. They now are plus 11 on the shot clock. Healy's been sharp. Last night gave up 42 saves on 47 shots, gave up the 5 goals, but he was worth the price of admission to be sure. Now what can Rutgers do with all this offensive zone time? Desperate to get something going beyond just the possession and the shot clock making its way up. Gallagher will work his way along the wall and send it in. Apollizon will find it, and he has to try again. Little room caught of this side. Declan McDonald trying to stick it free from Cornwall, Ontario. Heck of a first season for Misericordia. New team, 7-2 to start your life as a Tier 2 team with a couple of Tier 1 wins. That's a good team too, by the way. Smargan brought it back in. Nobody touched it, so it's not offside. Johnson. That's a nice check there from Houlihan. Stood him up with his hands with a kind of half stick check. Krupa has to cycle it along, but Rutgers is able to find it. And there's Walknachter. This line has been very good for Rutgers today. Led to the goal. I'm going to have to go off on a change and see if they can generate some more going forward. About halfway through period number 2 in a 2-1 Misericordia lead, though. Rutgers has the goal in this period and has been the better team. Loose behind the net. Now up the wall, McDonald 1v2, and eventually that is Case sending it all the way down. This is icing. Go back down the other way. See if the Cougars can just get a little bit of offensive zone time, some puck possession, some good looks to stem the tide. Right now we have not been seeing that from the Cougars. They haven't been spending a ton of time in the offensive zone, but they've been opportunistic with their chances. There was one, but Mooney flung it over the top and it only caught the glass. Case trying to latch on, but he didn't take it with him. And Harrison couldn't get it to Lipinski. Parker, that was dangerous, but he skated it through Tommen. He lost his edge there in the corner too as he fell over and Gorman took it away. Now Tommen, he's going to try to push his way through. Oh, and he gets taken down. Referee was looking right at it and saw nothing wrong with it, and the puck goes into the bench. Seen a lot of penalties called today, but that wasn't one of them. Right, the stick check sends a player flying. Physical plays there. And certainly for Rutgers, they've stemmed the tide, and some of the areas of trouble they had in that first period, they found a way to tighten it up. And again, spent a lot of time in the offensive zone. That's Chang, Michael Chang. Had an assist yesterday, number 27, trying to play it into the zone, and he's lost it. And now the other way comes England, who will chip and chase. And Bedard trips him. That's a penalty on the Scarlet Knights. He is from Medway, Massachusetts, and he picks up a penalty on his own. So another power play coming up for Misericordia. .9:30 to go in the period. Rutgers needs to kill this one off. I believe this to be the third Cougar power play of the day. They are 0 for 2 previous. Gallagher up at the point. Some room for Barker, and that deflects into the screen. Misericordia's last game before yesterday was a 5-1 loss to Newman, but they had won 6 in a row after losing in their inaugural game. No losing streaks. Really incredible start to life as a program for this new team. Interesting schedule when you're an independent, but off to the start you would like to see any team, let alone one that's playing its first season. Getting a good collection of players, finding their way in this new world. England lost his balance and it's back to the neutral zone. Gallagher. It's back up high, Barker. He threw that along to Jed Gilpatrick. Nice puck movement here. It's back with Barker, but everything's right now contained to the outside of the hash marks. Not a lot of danger in that area of the ice. There's 1:10 to go on the penalty to Bedard. Mooney trying to set up shop. Cross-ice feed was to nobody in particular. Reagan trying to use the boards. Campbell kicked it free, but after a good second effort, just able to force it out. Nice good work there from Dale Campbell, the freshman from West Orange, New Jersey. Gilpatrick will lead the rush the other way, gets it this way to McDonald, who tries to work his way into the zone. The play is offside. We've got our 2 referees and 2 linesmen, as we talked about before. And 39 seconds left on the penalty to Bedard. It is an important penalty kill here because Rutgers has been dominating the play in the second period, but if Misericordia get a power play goal after a tough penalty taken by Bedard, you got to do all that work over again. Less than 8 to go in the second period. Rutgers trying to force it out. They have, and now it might be a breakaway. This is an opportunity for Amezquita. Good backhand and an even better save. That is Andre Amezquita, senior from Marlton, New Jersey, and he had himself a great shorthanded opportunity, and he just couldn't elevate that backhand. And Reagan makes another good save. Another whistle, and we'll get another face-off down here. This is a great way to kill a penalty. You've got 13 seconds left to kill on it. Smargan against McDonald in the face-off circle, and eventually it is Misericordia that collects the puck. Tipping it in is McDonald. Power play is over. Needed kill for the Scarlet Knights. They did their job. But Misericordia scored on a sequence after a power play earlier in the game. That was the Lagos goal. Healy tried to clear it, and it got knocked down by a Rutgers stick. This is sent all the way down, won't be icing. 7:15 to go in the period. Rutgers really turning up the heat. Have the goal, but they're still trailing 2-1. Kind of a different game than what we saw yesterday. However, the third period is where all the goals were. There were 7 in the third period yesterday. So maybe we just have to wait. This is taken by Cotta. Assist yesterday. 3-on-2. Cotta rips one off of the knob of the stick of Healy. Dard got through him on a pinch. And Reagan back in the neutral zone. Cotta trying to track it down. He's able to go get it and just golf at it. Tomlin trying to join in. A Misericordia player lost their stick, but Cougars able to regroup and reset here. That's a nice forecheck from Greenspoon. He almost took it off of his man. That was England, who had a little trouble breaking the puck out. From the Scarlet Knights. Reagan, he's got room. Gets it back into the slot. There's a chance down low, and another save by Reagan. This one was on Case. I don't think Case elevated it, though. He had the goalie swimming, but another good chance for the Scarlet Knights, and they're starting to count. Case again. Oh, that hit the underside of the bar and stayed out. That's almost the same spot for that goal from Johnson earlier where it did hit the underside of the bar. Another save. That one was Reagan. Stopped by Healy. Rutgers is due for a second goal at this point. Just a matter of when. That's chipped wide by Greenspoon on the backhand. It's survival mode right now for the Cougars. They are able to flip it out, and the play's going to be offside, so Rutgers can't touch, and Greenspoon wisely doesn't do that. And then there's going to be no ice. That hit, oddly enough, a broken stick, and it's going to give Misericordia a chance in the offensive zone, but they give it away. Here's Campbell. Hilliard, can he get it to his tape in time? He ran out of racetrack. Centering pass, though, almost worked out anyway. There's a penalty coming up, too. Penalty coming up against the Cougars. Into the blue paint. Hilliard lost his bucket, and now we're going to get some pushing and shoving. Turn the heat up. So another wild sequence. It's going to be a Rutgers power play. And let's see who they called that on. They called it on Krupa, is who they give the penalty to. So Rutgers with a very important power play. At the tail end of this second period. What can Rutgers do here? They've had a couple of power plays earlier in the game they didn't take advantage of. Reagan through traffic, that went wide. I don't know how much Healy saw that. 4:44 to go in the period. Cleared by the Cougars. Another very close call for the Scarlet Knights as they try to tie this game. Coming from 2-0 down. Reagan whips one in. It's loose in the slot. Another save from Healy. He's been great today. Butchko for Reagan into the slot. Nice pass. Campbell. That's stopped. It's loose there for a second. Nobody could put a fork in it. And finally, Lagus is just going to have to leg this out. He sends it ahead for England. He's got room short side. The booty was swimming for a second, but he could never get a shot away. And then the extra pass, Gilpatrick could not settle. Campbell all the way in. That deflected just wide. Turner. A catch with Campbell. This is sent along by Hilliard back up to the point. Houlihan through traffic, redirected on net, and Healy's a lucky guy. That puck sat right there on a deflection for him, and then he is able to freeze it. Boy, oh boy. So Rutgers, still plenty of time on this power play to go, 50 seconds, and the chances just keep piling up, and eventually the dam will burst. Healy has played really well, but there's a ton of pressure being put on by the Scarlet Knights in the offensive zone. Really good offensive zone play, and all phases from Rutgers thus far in the second period. Smargan put it off the back of the cage. Kata keeps here, right point. Over to Houlihan. Kata, it's a little out in front of him. He wants to shoot it. That is off the boot of Lipinski. And kept in nicely. Kata does a good job to keep that in the zone. There are 13 seconds left on the penalty. Smargan behind the net. This is Walknachter waiting. He's got to pass it to Smargan, who lost it in his skates. Power play is over. So another unsuccessful power play. Krupa's back in. That shot hit the base of the post. Might hit the outside of the net. It was that point shot from Houlihan. But Misericordia is playing survive and advance hockey, and for a large part, it has worked. They're being outshot 29-12. I can't think of many chances they've had in this period at all. Wachnachter trying to chase his way into the zone. That is Harrison who tries to clear. Bedard trying to pinch and keep it in. Right down in front of us here. Bedard cutting it off along the wall. Lipinski ends up taking it. And Misericordia will regroup as the Scarlet Knights need to start a change. 2:10 to go in this period. Krupa right wing, Labuti makes a save. That's an important one for him because for the second straight period, he is not seeing a lot of rubber. And depends on the goalie, whichever one you talk to. Some of them are okay if they don't face a lot of rubber and they're standing back there waiting for the shots to come in. Some goalies like to get in rhythm, and facing a barrage of shots doesn't bother them too much. I think in the case of Charles Healy, he is okay facing a good number of shots, and he has been excellent today. Here's Case, makes a great move all the way and draws another penalty. That's a heavy collision into the end boards. It was England and Case that went down, and it's a hook. I think that was an England penalty he knew he had to take. So add him to the notebook of penalties today. After the many yesterday, we've got even more today. And so Rutgers will have a power play to span the majority of the rest of this period. So the last Rutgers power play generated some chances. What about this one? If they could get this to 2-2, it would be well-deserved for a really good second period. Backdoor pass. There's an open look. Reagan tried to get it to Campbell. Butchko shots off a leg. Well, the avenue closed quick there. Campbell at the goal line. Now back up to the hash marks. Butchko, Reagan. Nice pass backdoor. Went off the end of a stick of a Misericordia defender before it got to Campbell, and he couldn't shoot. Butchko. He's got to try again. Hilliard. Good solid check from this penalty kill for the Cougars, and that's a great stick from Johnson, who has the game-winning goal and an assist on the other one for the Cougars. Made a nice defensive play to break up that set of offensive zone passing for the Scarlet Knights. We have a minute to go in the period. There's a 4-second difference penalty in game clock. Reagan, great speed. He shoots. Healy made a save, and he saw that the whole way. Frustration from Hilliard slapping his stick on the ice. And the one thing for Rutgers right now, and Joe Dixon, is you're playing the right way. You're doing all of the right things in the offensive zone. The puck is moving quickly. There are open avenues, open lanes for a good number of these opportunities. Get a little traffic in front, make maybe one extra pass, and the opportunities are there. Now, Wachnachter dallied on the puck for just a split second too long, and it forced a turnover. And all the way back, Houlihan has to regroup here with Kata. Smargan over the line on the right wing. Gets it into the slot, well beyond Wachnachter. The pass was a hot one to handle. He's got it back, though. Wachnachter shoots. Good save. Healy got the rebound, too, and freezes it. 22 seconds to go in this game. There are some times where it doesn't matter what you do. The goalie's just in a zone, and for Rutgers, you have to hope that Healy isn't in one of those zones right now. This has become a very lopsided second period. The fact that Rutgers has scored one does not really show on the scoreboard. It shows on the shot clock. Healy's got to cover it up again, and a commotion. Campbell getting into it, stirring it up. Misericordia protecting their goalie for sure. You protect your goalie in every game, but particularly in a game where your goalie has made 30 saves on 31 shots. He has been excellent today. There's been just enough offense the other way to keep the Cougars in front. The shame for Rutgers is this period's going to end. Oh, there's a great hit by Gallagher in the neutral zone on Butchko. In fact, it wasn't so great. It's a penalty because it was contact with the head. So Gallagher just picked up another 2-minute penalty, and the Miners just keep on piling up for both teams. But now it's Misericordia losing some discipline. Butchko, I think, is okay. And so it's going to be 5-on-3 for 11 seconds, but there is a caveat to that. There's only 7 seconds left in the period, so you got to have a good play here off the face-off. And let's see if Rutgers could draw something up. You got to win the draw first. Campbell into the slot. Great save with the stick by Reagan. 2 seconds and 1. They get one in, but that's blocked away by Gardner, and the period is over. Rutgers gets the goal from Reagan. They have 4 seconds of 5-on-3 and then another extended power play after that. It is Misericordia 2, Rutgers 1 after 40 minutes of great hockey. Third period coming up. We are back for the third period on Breakout Sports. It is Rutgers Misericordia. It is a 2-1 game. We said Rutgers was going to continue in a 5-on-3. It's a 4-on-3 for 4 seconds because Ryan Butchko took a penalty at the end of the period. I couldn't tell you what it was, and now we are 4-on-4 for the next minute 42, and then Misericordia will have a very, very small power play after that. It's Gallagher in the box for the Cougars. It is Butchko in the box for the Scarlet Knights. Still 2-1, Misericordia. Reagan scored the only goal of that second period, one that Rutgers dominated. A 31-13 shot advantage. Star of the game thus far is Charles Healy, the goalie for the Cougars, who has been absolutely on it this afternoon. See what we have here in this third period for you as we continue with 4-on-4 play. Well, there's more physical play along the boards. As bodies are hitting the ice, it looks like Gilpatrick is the one for the Cougars who's getting involved, and eventually he takes it away. And now it's a 3-on-2 for Misericordia. England tries to center it. He got the puck back off a bounce. He tries to skate free himself. The cross-ice feed is deflected away and taken back by Reagan, who will regroup. 40 seconds left of 4-on-4. That was touched by Brendan Johnson, who has an assist and a goal in the game today. Right now is the game-winning goal. Cotta shoots redirected off of a stick and in, and Rutgers is tied at 4-on-4. Didn't look like there was a whole lot happening there, but it's Cotta who picks up the goal. That's his first of the season for the senior from Haddonfield, New Jersey. We'll get a look at it again. And on the first shot of this third period, Rutgers able to tie the game. Again, it looks like Misericordia is in good shape here. It's just a small forecheck, a forced turnover. And yeah, I think that went off the stick of one of the defenders for the Cougars. But Cotta, you remember, he had what we thought was a goal in the first period. It turned out not to be. As I said, I think that ended up being called goalie interference, even though the puck went in before the net went off the pegs. But now it's a 2-2 game, and to be honest, that's been coming for a while. Rutgers has been by far the better team in the offensive zone. Misericordia has been trying to just protect the lead and survive in advance, and at some point that's just not feasible when you're facing as many shots as they did. And now we've got ourselves a brand new ball game at 2-2. The very short Misericordia power play is now over, so we're back to 5-on-5. Let's see how long we stay there. Mooney to the wing, and that shot never reached the net. It went off of a body in front. It was Barker who ended up inadvertently hitting a changeup. This is taken by Hilliard. He's got Walknachter going to the net. He finds him, and another great save by Healy. Can't blame Healy for any of the goals that get by him. A couple of the ones we've seen today have been just bounces on some defensive breakdowns in front. Reagan's going to hammer one, and that goes in too. Rutgers leads 3-2. That's a long point shot that had an interesting journey to get there. Reagan scored 2 goals in Rutgers, 2:30 into period number 3 as a 3-2 lead. Get another look at it. He's been excellent today, Connor Regan. And you're going to watch him here left point. Puck just makes his way up to him. A lot of collapsing in around the puck down low. And did that go off of a stick? It might have gone off of Lipinski's stick. There have been deflections and weird goals galore, but Reagan has found himself scoring 2 of the goals, and Rutgers now has a 3-2 lead. They scored 4 goals in the third period yesterday. They've scored 2 today, and they now have a lead. Looking for another Campbell shot off a skate, and what do we have here? Another penalty. It's a holding penalty, and let's see who it's on. It's going to be on Gilpatrick for a hold, so the parade to the penalty box continues, but for the Scarlet Knights, this is a chance to really put the hammer down. They have not converted on any of their power plays today, but this is a great opportunity to really take advantage of the mistakes Misericordia that are now starting to pile up. Reagan on a hat trick. Cotta, these two have the goals today for the Scarlet Knights. There's a shot. That was blocked. Campbell, and he got crunched for his trouble. Is that another penalty? Yeah, I think so. The discipline for the Cougars is starting to slip. That was a silly penalty to take. And it's going to be on Gardner, who takes his second minor of the day. Just a high check. There was no need for that. And so now it is 5-on-3 for a full 95 seconds for Rutgers. Trying to win their second game of the season. They have only won one of their first 7. 1-5-0-1 as we talked about. And they are desperate to break the seal on this season. There have been some struggles, some difficult evenings and afternoons. This might feel good, but they've got a lot of work to do, and scoring on a 5-on-3 would definitely help. Reagan up high. Cotta shoots, and that hit his own man in front. That was Hilliard, who was standing in front of the net, not who he was intending to hit. This is Turner. Reagan threw it behind a couple of players, and the puck stayed in on the right side of the line. Fortunate for the Scarlet Knights there. Turner again. They want traffic in front. They have it. It's deflected on net. Another good save by Healy. Some sticks went flying, but Misericordia holding their nerve. And it's important in the situation they find themselves in right now to hold their nerve. This is a tough spot to be in. There's no question about it. They've had the lead for a majority of this game from the first period on. They're being outshot by 22. This is a difficult spot to be in with all the penalties they have taken. But if they can just hold on here, they have themselves a chance. But being down 2 would be some trouble. There's a chance. Ooh, that went wide. Absolutely rocketed, I think, by Hilliard. Another chance in front. Healy is saved. There's a rebound and kicked wide, and that's a smart play back there. I think that was England who made a really smart play to get that puck out and kill some time. There is about 25 seconds left of 5-on-3 time. Rutgers has had 2 5-on-3 opportunities in this game. Campbell zooming in to the left wing, tried to center it. That's broken up, and out it goes. That was Lagos who was back defensively. He scored the first goal of the day. And now the 5-on-3 has only 18 seconds to go. Reagan going to try to do it himself, and that goes high, hit the glass, and also hit the part of the glass where the mesh meets it, and so we get a whistle. And that's actually a break for Rutgers. You could draw up a play here with 10 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. They'll have 25 seconds of time left on the Gardner penalty after that. Morgan to take the draw. It's pulled back here for Houlihan. Tries to get it down low. There's 5 seconds left on the 5-on-3. You can hear the tap from Labouti. There's a shot. It's another save by Healy. It's loose. And Walknachter couldn't get to it. It's now 5-on-4 for another 17 seconds. Walknachter along the wall in the hash marks. Into the slot. Picked up by Trent Barker, who clears it, and Misericordia's penalty kill has kept them in this hockey game. There's no question about that. Another long extended 5-on-3 that goes by the wayside, and Rutgers, they have the lead, but they're going to be feeling it should be more right now than what it is. Apelizon sent that into the slot. Trying to get that to Sammy Askin, number 9, sophomore from Rift in New York, and that deflects up and out of play. And as you saw, 14:40 to go in the period. The only 5 shots of the period belong to Rutgers, and they now are plus 23 in shots on goal. Forced ahead by Houlihan. Misericordia regroups. And where do you find the offense from? And it's a big question for this Cougars team right now, which had some good looks in the first period and then really nothing since. Gallagher goes back to get it. That's going to come all the way back. Bedard will cut it off in front of his own bench. He tried to send it in, deflected. Picked up by Case. Circling. Tommen gives him some support. Apelizon right into some skates. That was Lagus blocked the shot. Another good hit there on Gallagher. Separated man from puck, and Gallagher was a little slow to get up. Dead and left the zone. Greenspoon shoots it wide. And all the way down, tipped down by Johnson into the corner and out of play. And the draw will go back to the neutral zone here. Haven't kept track of just how long it's been without a shot for Misericordia, but we're working on over maybe 10 minutes. Right? Just not a lot of offensive zone time, not a lot of sustained pressure. And they've had their power plays as well. That was shot in by Gilpatrick. Loose down low. This might be an opportunity for Barker. Loose there at the side of the net. Booty had to really stretch to cover that up. He was kind of hugging his post. The puck came back out in front, and he scrambled to cover, which he did. This goalie, Michael Labouty, senior from West Harrison, New York, has not seen a lot of rubber. Technically, that was the 14th shot you just saw, so it ends a long stretch without a shot on goal for the Cougars. They win the faceoff. Can they get something set up offensively? Gilpatrick trying to get that redirected in front. Nobody knew where it was for a second. Eventually, it was Gorman who found it, number 2. On boards Barker, sends it across. Gilpatrick shoots. It got blocked, and lots of hacking away at each other. That was Hilliard and England, and I think got another penalty call, and this one, I believe, is against Rutgers. And I think Turner is going to be the one that gets the penalty here. Yes, it is him. It was not the sequence in front of the net that did it, but now it's Misericordia's turn on the power play. You've survived, you fought, you have not had much offense since the first period, but you're one puck away from tying the game with 13:02 to go in period number 3. Campbell trying to force it loose off the faceoff. That was McDonald trying to play it back to the point. Power play now set up for the Cougars. Down 3-2. Johnson, goal and an assist for number 72. He gets it back. Gardner, center point. He shoots it, redirects wide. Lagus finds it. Gardner working down low. That's a nice block. Reagan, who's scored 2 goals, has to do the dirty work defensively. That's a nice pass, but just off the stick of Johnson. He's able to regroup with it. High it goes. Gardner. And Labouty is able to freeze it. .22 to go in this third period, 1:19 to go on the power play. And so that's now 3 shots on goal in the period for the Cougars. That's a good face-off win by Rutgers, and it's down the rink immediately. No nonsense. In a situation like this, protecting the lead, you win a face-off, just get the puck down as quickly as you can. And Rutgers defensively, we've talked a lot about how Misericordia struggled to set stuff up in the offensive zone. What you really have to give credit for is Rutgers defensively has just good defense with offensive zone puck possession, but when they're in the zone, there's just no room. They're defending as a team. They're hunting in packs, all the things that coaches love to talk about. Gilpatrick down low. This is Mooney. He's got room. They're backing off of him, and he goes for the cross-ice backdoor play. Got to get it to Barker. It didn't connect. Power play has 30 seconds left on it. Can Misericordia find that option? That's sent all the way down and out. Not what they were looking for there. It was England who was trying to set something up, but maybe trying to squeeze it into an area where there wasn't a whole lot of room. And now they only have 10 seconds left of the power play. These teams are 0 for the power play today in spite of a majority of opportunities. And now this could be a 3-on-1 after a mistake in the neutral zone. Johnson waits. Oh, and he didn't take the puck with him. For a guy who scored one and assisted one, he had a 3-on-1 all the time in the world, and he maybe had too much time, and he just had the puck run under his stick. Gilpatrick turns it over in the neutral zone. Rutgers trying to quickly regroup. Campbell, he's onside. The shot was partially blocked, and Healy got a stick to it. McDonald will find it in the corner. Cotta. He doesn't know where it was. I think he took something up in the face. They all wear full face shields in college hockey, but he's able to get back in on the forecheck. Johnson out to the neutral zone where it is picked up by Turner. And the bodies are hitting the ice at this point. It's been that kind of game. They've exerted a lot of energy in the last 2 games, both of these teams, and the desperation that Rutgers is playing with is all to see. This will not be icing because Wilson could have had a play on the puck. Tyler Wilson. It was just inside the line where it's picked up by Cotta. He shoots another save for Healy. That's 38 shots he's seen. He stopped 35 of them. Krupa just inside the neutral zone. Lost control. Reagan picks it up. Greenspoon didn't take it with him. Krupa makes a nice move, and he shoots. It's weak because it was deflected on the way in, and Labuti freezes it. We are now more than halfway through period number 3. It is still 3-2 Rutgers. Whatever happens in this game, Misericordia, as a first-year M2 team, Tier 2, to play the way that they've played, again, starting up something from scratch is extremely impressive. And they have an interesting schedule. They've got some more games ahead. And they're going to win more games. They've got Stockton, Penn State's D2 team. Not the one with Gavin McKenna on it, just to be clear. There is still club hockey at Penn State, even as the high-level team is the most interesting team in college hockey at present. Played last night at Arizona State. Meanwhile, loose in the neutral zone, Lipinski slaps it ahead. Walkdactor had to be careful not to touch that, otherwise it would have been too many men. And that shot whistled wide from Toman. He put a charge into that. Not a lot of flex on that stick. But Barker comes the other way with speed. Forced wide, though. Reagan playing really well defensively. He took his man wide. That's great forward defensive play right there. In the end, he also took a penalty. I think one thing you'll say about Reagan is he's active for better or for worse, and he's now taken 4 minor penalties in these 2 games, and he will sit with 8:27 to go in the third in a game that is 3-2, and you now see Reagan has 29 penalty minutes in the 8 games Rutgers has played. And he, if you could, you don't have the camera on it, but you could see him just hunched over next to one of the backup goalies is frustrated because he took that penalty. He knows that's not a spot you want to put your team in when you're defending a lead in the third period. Apollizon tried to get rid of it for Rutgers and get it out, but it's kept in by Johnson. Touched on by Gardner. Turner was trying to force it free, and a shot fluttered wide. That was Johnson, who got himself into a good position there. Declan McDonald into the slot. Labuti down, he makes the save. Player ends up into the post. Gardner looks up at the sky knowing he had a good chance. Labuti ended up on his back. The puck was between him. Never went over the line. Another crazy sequence in front of that goal mouth where there have been a few today. What happens off the faceoff? Campbell, he was trying to skate loose with it himself. There's a shot from Gallagher. Labuti lost it. It never went in. Oh, it went through his legs, it went off the post, and it stayed out. Earlier in the day, that one did go in. This one did not. You got to go, if you're Labouty, give that a Marc-Andre Fleury thank you to your post moment for that, because it went through him, hit the post, and it sat on the line for a second and didn't go in. I have no idea how. A hockey puck bounces in very weird ways. That is an aerial clearance all the way down. Healy has to play it ahead of Walknachter. Man, Labouty is lucky. But you'll take it, especially when you have won only one game. You'll take whatever you can get. Loose in the neutral zone. And Mesquita tried to make that play there. He collided with his own teammate. This is an opportunity. Gilpatrick, the shot was blocked. Bodies are hitting the ice. Lagus trying to throw it across. It comes back up another shot. Labouty made a save. The power play has 15 seconds to go on it. Gilpatrick picked up by the Scarlet Knights, and a stumbling Gorman just forced it all the way down. But a great pass by Healy gets it into quick transition. Gardner cuts to the middle, and he had no help. Penalty over. Still, we've had maybe 11 or 12 power plays today. Honestly, I've lost count. Nobody scored on him, and it stays 3-2, 6:15 to go in period number 3. Apelizon will work his way over the line. He lost that to Johnson. Misericordia has had their chances to tie this game up. Rutgers has had their chance to get some distance between themselves and the visiting Cougars this afternoon. Neither team has taken it, which has meant that we are going to have a really fantastic finish. This has been a fun game. It might not have been the cleanest played game you've ever seen, but it's been intense. And there have been chances, there have been some weird moments. Play was onside, the puck is loose in the slot. There's a shot that goes high from Johnson. He had a lot of time and space, but launched it over the top. It comes back to Gardner. He's trying to send it back on. This is Lipinski along the wall. Apelizon with the check. Campbell tied up with his man Gardner along the boards. The puck comes free. This is an opportunity for Harrison. Houlihan went to the ice, into the slot. Lipinski blocked as Coley ended up colliding. Campbell with him. Lipinski's out and out. So was Labouty. There was a Rutgers player on the ice. And now suddenly, Misericordia's got all the offensive zone time. Gardner fluttered it wide. Lipinski, he lost out. Houlihan trying to clear. Rutgers needs this puck to get out of the zone, and it's not going anywhere. Johnson, Turner pressures. Off the bench, it's Wilson. And now finally, a tired group of Cougars needs to go get a change, and Rutgers can catch their breath. Another very, very close call. This won't make it far enough for icing. Gallagher resets behind his own net. Misericordia down 3-2. Barker chips and chases. Nice read by Reagan. Back to the neutral zone, Tommen. And get a whistle, and a face-off is going to come down to the offensive zone for the Scarlet Knights. I think they didn't exactly see what happened, but a break for the Scarlet Knights just to spend some time in the offensive zone after trying to see this one out. By no means easy. Misericordia has finally had that push we've long thought was coming. Just a dormant offense for, 15, 20 minutes, maybe longer. Scored their 2 goals in the first. Rutgers has scored the next 3. Gorman is back. He's got help from Reagan. Been awesome today, Connor Reagan. Sophomore from Hanfield, New Jersey. Nice move by Case. Tried to send it along, but went behind the net. He lost it to Gilpatrick, who pushes ahead. Going to be Misericordia taking risks time with 3.5 to go. Reagan skates in. Reagan, good save again by Healy. Reagan on a hat trick, but held nicely by Healy, who has played himself a great game. Now he's been the goalie who hasn't seen a whole lot of puck of late. 3:28 to go in this third period and regulation. Might we see overtime? Misericordia has never played an overtime game in their short history. Rutgers has won this season. Requires the Cougars to score a goal. Off the draw, it's Gardner. That's turned over. Nice forecheck there from Smargan. Kata tries to keep it where it is. Oh, there's a penalty for holding. And I think this is on the Cougars. Is it? Well, let's have a look. It's offensive zone penalty. It was on Kata who took the penalty. Oh, my bad. That's an offensive zone penalty from Kata. Oh, the last thing you want in that situation is an offensive zone penalty. Kata doesn't take many, but he takes one there. It is now a power play for the Cougars, and for the time being, Scott Swanson has kept his goalie in his net. It's a 5-on-4. You could say maybe it's early to pull your goalie, but a 6-on-4 is better than a 5-on-4, even if the other team can just fling it down the ice. Gilpatrick to Gallagher. Through traffic, it deflects wide. Dard lost his balance trying to knock that down out of the air. This is England. Cuts to the middle. He got hooked a little there. That's a penalty. They're going to call a penalty on Turner for a hook. And now it's 5-on-3 for Misericordia for a minute 31. My goodness me. This is becoming, well, it was a story last night, so it's not necessarily becoming one, but it is a story here. The penalties just keep mounting up. That was Jack Turner, who has his second minor of the game. A hooking penalty now gives Misericordia a 5-on-3 with 2:43 to go. Well, Rutgers trying to get their second win. They're going for it the hard way with the penalties. This discipline, not the strong suit for either of these teams. Walknachter couldn't force it out. Played by Gardner. Up the wall. Gardner, the hit stayed in just barely. Lagus shoots, and that's a good save by Labuti. It's going to pop up in the air. Knocked down by McDonald. Gardner just did prevent that from going to the neutral zone. He walks his way in. He tries to center. It goes back to Lagus. He fanned on the shot. A rebound. They score! 5-on-3 goal for Gabriel Harrison. He had 3 assists yesterday. He gets the goal on the 5-on-3 here. And this game is tied at 3. The Rutgers penalty problems come back to bite them. It looked like Rutgers had a couple chances to get this out of the zone. It didn't end up happening. There was one you see right there from Gardner. And this made its way to Harrison after the fan shot. And he just puts it past the booty. And there is still power play time left for the Scarlet Knights to kill. Well, they got to get the first penalty off the board. That's the first power play goal today in like 13 to 14 tries. They'll get to it. And so now back to a brand new ball game once again at 3-3. Misericordia fighting like heck through all of the stuff that they'd been fighting through. The penalty to Kata was the one that's off the board. There we go. Kata's the one off the board. Still a minute 30 of power play time for Misericordia. Last night, Rutgers did all the hard work. This play's offside. They came back from 5-2 down to tied at 5-5 and then gave up 2 goals late and lost 7-5. This would be equally heartbreaking. I mean, the domination of which they played with from going down 2-0 to the third period to take the lead. But Misericordia did what it had to do. My goodness. Harrison, Johnson, as the play is offside again, and Lagus have the goals today for Misericordia. 2 from Reagan, 1 from Kata for Rutgers. 2:02 to go. in period number 3 as overtime might be beckoning. This has been, it's been a fun game of hockey. It's been competitive. It's been intense. But Rutgers has got a penalty to kill. Until they gave up the 5-on-3 goal, they'd been doing a really good job of it. And look, 5-on-3 opportunities, if you don't score on them, you know something the other end is going to come around. And in the case of Rutgers, they had a couple 5-on-3 opportunities, including a long one themselves when they were up 3-2 to try to put the game away, in a sense. And then Misericordia gets a 5-on-3. They take advantage of it. There is 90 seconds to go in regulation. There is 45 seconds to go on the penalty taken by Turner. Nice drag there from England to try to get it back into his stride. It's back to the point. Desperately, Gilpatrick trying to kick it along. It's sent out in front, and there was an open man. It was England. He had some room. And now, finally, Amezquita, senior from Marlton, just rips it down the ice. And 20 seconds left of the penalty, and we now have about a minute to go in this third period. Houlihan up the wall. Loose puck picked up by Harrison. Chancellor Labuti has had to make the save there on Lagus, who scored the first goal. He's trying to score the last one. Power play is about to expire. Gardner up high. The power play is now over. Lagus has the puck. It's back with Gardner's shot. Labuti, nice save. A big rebound. Labuti stopped that one too on Lagus, and he got a cross check in the midsection for his trouble. .1 to go in regulation. This game's been worth the price of admission, that's for sure. Heck of a hockey game. Last night was fun too. This has been fun in a very different way. As I said, Rutgers has been to overtime once this season. That puck ends up hitting the mesh, and so we're going to have to do the face-off again with 34.1 to go. It is Smargan on the face-off against England. Rutgers trying to clear. Oh, that's a penalty on the Cougars. Oh boy, Cotta was tripped in the neutral zone. Not the time to take a penalty for sure. Now they're going to call elbowing. Either way, it is still a penalty. And it's McDonald. Gardner is the one that ends up taking it. Gardner now has taken 3 minors today, and so this power play will carry over into overtime if they don't score, but Joe Dixon doing the smart thing and calling a timeout. So trying to draw up a play to see if you can win this thing in regulation. All these power play opportunities for Rutgers, and nothing has gone in. I mean, honestly, I think it's 7 or 8 at this point that they've had. So Misericordia's done the job they've had to do on the penalty kill to survive, including that 5-on-3 earlier in the period. And now they're going to have to survive this, and it will carry over to overtime. Rutgers desperate for that second win of the season, trying to make amends for the 7-5 loss last night. And have the big guns, including Reagan and Cotta, on the ice right now. These two have the 3 goals combined. See, Reagan is going to set up at the left point here. He's right in front of you right now. Cotta is over by the face-off circle. It's going to be Turner to take the draw. He's taking it against Barker. Rutgers wins the draw. Can they get something set up off the face-off? It's a bouncing puck picked up by Campbell. 20 seconds to go in regulation. Reagan on a hat trick. He tried to send it down low to flex to the corner. Campbell with 13 seconds to go. Reagan wants it and gets it. Reagan walks the line. Reagan looks for room. Fanned on the shot. Campbell, He wants to shoot, but now there isn't any room. That's the rebound chance. They score! With 2.5 left, Rutgers scores a power play goal, and that might just win them their second game of the season. Cotta scored earlier. He scores again here, and the penalty trouble for both teams finally bites them at the worst time. Cotta with 2.2 ticks left in regulation. That might just have won them the game. Well, there isn't really enough time for Misericordia to get the puck down the ice. Cotta with the power play goal, and this game is over. Garrett Cotta scores with about 2 seconds and change to go to win it, 4-3. We're going to see the replay for you right now before we send you off on your day. Rutgers was just waiting for the shot. A couple of fan opportunities. Campbell had one, and it came backdoor on a kind bounce. Cotta was in great position, and he buries it, and Rutgers gets their second win of the season in extremely dramatic fashion. Right place, right time for Cotta to score his first 2 goals of the season in the third period to win it. What a game. What an afternoon here on Breakout Sports Broadcasting. Matthew, Aaron, thank you for all of your afternoon today. Colton and Joel, our great crew, I'm Matt. We will see you soon for more games. Thank you for watching Rutgers 4, Misericordia 3. Have a great rest of your day.